Hi guys, welcome back to another video. Today I want to discuss my theory of momentum. So I'm not a physicist and this is a different kind of momentum, but it's more about momentum with goals and behavior. I'm sure that this is a concept that is acknowledged and discussed by other people, but admittedly I've never heard anyone directly address this concept. I kind of just figured it out by myself and I'd like to share it. So the main idea is that any time I've experienced setbacks in my life, or times when I wasn't able to achieve my goals, I got complacent, I was lazy, stuff like that, everything seemed to take place at the same time. If I stick to my normal routines and operate the same way on a daily basis, things go fine. However, when I make an adjustment, I find it very difficult to return to my initial way of operating. An example of this is going to bed late and sleeping in. So I usually go to bed at 9 a.m. and I wake up at 6 a.m. And it's easy to maintain this routine because I stick to it every day. However, if one day I allowed myself to stay up later than 9 p.m. because perhaps I wanted to watch YouTube or I was on the phone with someone, the next day I'll find it harder to stick to the routine as I've already broken it. And it's made even worse if I sleep in later to make up for the time I lost being asleep, because then this causes me to sacrifice my morning activities, and then it causes a big cycle of things in my day being thrown out of routine. The idea here is, if you have momentum going, for example, say you've started going to the gym, or say you're on a new diet, or you're on a new sleep schedule, something like that. Once you're starting, it's okay. But as soon as you stop, it's so much harder to restart. I call this the theory of momentum because, as is kind of obvious, once you're going, it's easy to keep going, but as soon as you lose your momentum, it's hard to pick that momentum back up. To prevent the loss of momentum, it's important to never let yourself break the routine or guidelines for 2 days in a row. If you wish to follow a strict workout schedule and you miss a workout one day, ensure that you make it a priority to not miss the next day. This enables you to maintain the routine. However, if you let yourself avoid it the following day, it becomes significantly harder to pull yourself back into the routine as the momentum has disappeared, and you now have excuses in your head to justify your behavior. Perhaps you tell yourself, oh, I've already missed it 2 days, so it's not the end of the world if I miss it a third time. This applies to your diet, as well as any relapses, whether it be drugs, alcohol, porn, anything like that, your sleep schedule, as well as anything else that you have a routine or have strict rules regarding. Another valuable tip is to let these things happen naturally and allow them to pass. If you do relapse on something, or you fail to stick to your schedule, just accept the fact that you made a mistake and you'll ensure that it doesn't happen again. If you dwell on this behavior, it'll consume a much larger part of your day than it needs to, and it will cause you to burn all your energy worrying, which makes it easier for you to then continue these bad habits. Even if you're tired, don't give in to your old bad habits. If you come home from uni and desperately want to take the elevator instead of the stairs up to your apartment, still take the stairs. If you don't want to cook and desperately want to order fast food, still cook. Although the easy option feels better in the moment, you'll feel way more rewarded by putting the effort in. It's at these crucial moments where the harder task will make you more energized. Of course, the fast food may be easier, and it may make you feel better in the moment, but after you eat it, you'll feel sluggish, disgusted at yourself, and you'll go down a negative spiral of which you fall back into your old ways. After completing these harder tasks, you'll feel proud, accomplished, but you'll actually have more energy than you did before. Tell yourself that you care about the future you. If I take the elevator today, I'll benefit in the moment, but tomorrow I'll suffer the consequences. It's key to understand that every moment you give in to your bad habits or cravings, you lose the momentum you've built up and you risk losing your progress. Comfort for one day won't outweigh the months or years of progress you might give up if you fall back into your old ways. I had this mental battle a few days ago, and although maybe a bit cheesy, I told myself in the end that I will take the stairs, and each step is going to be the best step I've taken today. And I proceeded to stomp my way up the stairs, the 5 flights of stairs up to my apartment, and at the top I felt proud of myself, and I'd worked up energy from each step that then fueled the rest of the tasks I had to do upon arriving home. I actually felt better after completing the thing that I didn't want to do, because I did it, and I was proud of myself. It gave me energy because of that. It's important to clarify that this doesn't mean not to take breaks. Breaks are incredibly important to your success in just about any activity you do in your life. However, it's important to structure these breaks into your routine. For example, you might allocate a specific day to relaxing and doing anything you'd like to do, rather than following your restrictions. However, you must only allow yourself to engage in this behavior on your breaks. If you give in to your cravings on any day when you haven't allowed it, you'll experience this loss of momentum. You can preserve your momentum by being conscious about the activities you'll do in a day and allowing yourself to give in to them. It's ultimately about holding yourself accountable and not breaking the promises that you make to yourself. Breaking a promise causes great distress and it makes you feel as though you failed, but giving yourself the ability to engage in a specific behavior can eliminate these feelings. However, if you find that each time you allow yourself to have a cheat meal or skip a workout, you struggle to get back into the routine, even if you've planned it into your day, it's probably just best to prevent yourself from engaging in these activities altogether, as they provide more harm than benefit at that point. Another thing to mention is that if you've had a day where everything seems to be going wrong, for example, you slept in, you woke up and you skipped your workout, and then you checked your phone right away and scrolled on Instagram for about an hour, then you ordered McDonald's and watched Netflix, it's gonna be incredibly difficult to suddenly muster up the energy to open up your laptop and start working on a valuable project. And if you use your willpower to force yourself through this task, you're gonna feel terribly drained and you won't really complete the task at an adequate level. Sometimes it's okay to have days like these. The important thing is to not feel guilty about them. Of course you feel bad about what you did, but it's done now, and you simply just need to agree to not let it happen again. Let yourself relax today, let yourself finish that Netflix series, and then go to bed feeling optimistic for tomorrow when you can prove to yourself that it was simply a mistake, not a reflection of who you are as a person. Instead of worrying about getting back on track right away and draining your energy worrying, just let it pass and get a fresh start tomorrow, where all of your undesirable behavior is in the past, and now you're ready to hit the ground running. To summarize the points I made here, the idea of momentum suggests that if you're doing a behavior and you stop doing it, it's much harder to suddenly start doing it again than it was when you were in the routine. To prevent this from happening, if you do let yourself slip up on a day and you don't manage to complete your behavior, let it pass for that day and don't stress about it. Don't try and make up for the things you've lost because you'll burn more energy worrying about it. Approach the next day with the mindset that you'll make sure to complete whatever the task is that you want to do. Don't let it go 2 days in a row where you haven't completed the task, because then it's easier to justify not doing it since it's already been 2 days and there's no noticeable difference yet. Additionally, completing the most difficult tasks when you don't want to do them is the most important stage of self-development. If you can convince yourself to do these tasks, you'll feel way better once you've done them, you'll feel proud, you'll feel more energized, and it will be easier to do them next time. However, if you give in to your cravings and you become lenient, it's infinitely harder to continue doing these tasks, and it destroys your momentum completely. Short-term comfort doesn't outweigh the long-term benefit. One day of comfort in sacrifice for months or years of progress simply isn't worth it. Approach every day with the mindset that you're doing it for future you. Although you might be hesitant to take this idea on board, as you might think, why not live for me today? By living for future you, you actually feel better today because you're proud of yourself and you're doing the things you want. Ultimately, if you go and do a challenging workout, you feel proud of yourself at the end of the workout. You feel like you've accomplished something and you feel more energized. So even if it's for future you, today you, current you, is still benefiting, and it's benefiting future you. So it's the best of both worlds. There's no way that watching Netflix and eating McDonald's actually makes you feel more fulfilled than exercising. If it does, that's great, and you can schedule that in so that you're not actually losing those things. But if you schedule those activities in, you won't lose your momentum because you know that aside from this period of the day when I'm watching Netflix, everything else will go as planned. And then you won't miss things. You'll simply have other time to watch Netflix. Thanks for watching the video. I wanted to share my concept of momentum, and I hope I expressed it clearly. If you have any questions or want to know how I implement this into my life, how to implement it into your life, or just want more discussion about the theory, be sure to leave it in the comments. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you later.